Hello, everybody. I'm a practicing therapist and a doctoral student of psychology. Today, I wanted to go over a phenomenon that does happen. It's not going to be everyone's experience, but if it is, this will help you to unpack some of the things that happened. Some people are angry because they couldn't control you or keep you stuck in a certain position that favored them. This can be family, this can be friends, this can be a woman, it can be a man, whatever your situation is. It can be coworkers and work relationships. The first one that you will typically see is that your growth disrupted a dynamic that benefited them, okay? And so when someone is used to having influence, control, or predictability in their life based on your previous position, your personal growth can feel like a loss of power to them. And so if this is something that's familiar, you will likely also understand the next point. They actually expect you to remain the same. They might even verbalize or discourage you from growing. And sometimes it may even sound like a place of trying to be better for you. So for example, if you met a new woman and you really like her, and maybe your ex is saying something like, well, she seems a little bit unstable, or she seems like she has too much time on her hands. Why is she always, texting you? Don't you think that's a red flag? When in actuality, it shows that she's interested in you. She likes you. It's not too abnormal. But your ex, maybe she lost an opportunity with you, or maybe she left you, but now she's regretting it. But maybe she's too prideful. She doesn't want to admit it. She would rather you have an open spot so that one day she can come back and she doesn't have to take accountability. But she's mad because now you're moving on. She doesn't like that. She's expecting you to say the same, but actually, you're moving on. She is discouraging that, maybe without even realizing it. She wants you to be dependent on her, maybe compliant. Maybe she wants you to tolerate unhealthy behavior. But when you are meeting another woman, she's going to realize that you're going to see how she treated you was not healthy. It could even be a work environment. They might say, you're really good at this job. You're really good at this role. The reason why we don't want to promote you is because there's no one who can fill what you do. They want you to stay the same because if they do promote you, they have to pay you more money and you could probably come for their jobs. The next one is actually boundaries limit access and control. So you are starting to put up boundaries. You may start setting healthier boundaries. And people who benefited from the lack of your boundaries may react with frustration and anger. Research in 2015 concluded that when people perceive threats to their freedom or influence is the important one for this particular video, they experience an unpleasant feeling, but they also feel like their motivation for certain things can be aimed at restoring their autonomy and their particular influence, okay? And so common reactions can be hostility, aggression, and anger. That means that if you set a boundary and somebody becomes a little bit angry or frustrated and it continues that way, they were probably benefiting from keeping you in a certain position. In other words, keeping you stuck, okay? The next one is that your independence actually removes leverage. This is an example that comes up a lot in the consulting calls that I have with you guys. And so I'm going to use it, but it is not based on anyone. I'm not talking about one person in particular. So anyone who's had a call with me, please understand, I'm not talking about you in particular. I'm talking about particular cases I've seen throughout as a group, not one person, okay? Let's say you're financially independent and you moved out of your mother's house, okay? And you're doing very well for yourself. You leaving her house, she has removed leverage. Like you have removed her leverage because now she can't say that the reason she does this is because she takes care of you. The reason that she's maybe picking fights with you or always being difficult is because you guys live together. She doesn't have that space anymore to always be with you or even lean on you emotionally because you are now independent from her. She can't hold that over you. She can't use that to control you, that she gave you a place to live. You're away from that. And now she also probably is becoming more emotionally dysregulated because by you being in her house, she was able to spill onto her emotions onto you and blame you for certain things, even if it wasn't you. But now that you are not financially attached to her, she can't say that that's the reason she's stressed. She can't say that's the reason she's mad. So she has to look at her own dysregulation, which she obviously doesn't like. But you are free from that situation. So you have removed that. She wants to keep you stuck Even if she always complains, oh, you're always in my house, you're always doing this, that's not the truth. She liked that because she had leverage over you. She no longer does. Now she can't use you to blame you for all the dysregulation in her life. That's an example, okay? The next one is your success actually exposes unhealthy behavior in other people. If someone has discouraged you of their goals, of your goals, and now you reach those goals, it really puts a flashlight, so to speak, on the fact that they were wrong about whatever they were saying, but it also shows that they haven't progressed for years. If you can do it, and maybe you did it easily, it could be because you're, smarter, whatever it may be, it doesn't really matter. The point is you pushed and persevered for this particular goal. Why didn't they? It'll make them see that they've been sitting in these unhealthy behaviors for a long time where you decided you want to grow, you want to change. People don't like that. And that's why a lot of people want to stop you. They'll discourage you. They'll say for you to do A, B, and C because that's what they're doing. It's hard, but this is where a lot of this comes from because they actually want you to not move forward so that they don't have to look at their own failure, okay? The next one is they may interpret your growth as rejection. You're simply evolving. This one is pretty common in relationship dynamics. Maybe you are moving on in your career. It doesn't mean you're leaving your girlfriend behind. It doesn't mean anything like that. But maybe it means that you have a higher position now. She might think that you're outgrowing her. That's not true, though. A lot of, especially men, they don't really think that way. But she might feel like you're doing better than her. So she might become overly critical of you. It might be subconscious, but she's critical of you. She's more picky over you. She's more judgmental. And she's actually more difficult to deal with when in actuality, she's just insecure that you are growing and that you will one day leave her. Not that you will. This is in her mind, okay? The next one is that your increased confidence actually makes it harder for people to manipulate your decisions, okay? And another one that could be similar to this is colleagues and managers specifically may be frustrated when you stop accepting their unfair workload or treatment, okay? So research in 2013 with 5,000 participants, around 5,000, shows that when you set boundaries, the other person loses influence, which they may react with anger, not necessarily because the boundary is wronged, but because their access to you is now changed. So they can no longer put that workload onto you, okay? And so these are kind of the things that does happen. And the most important thing that I want to bring up about this is that often people who are in this situation, maybe when you were younger, you were traumatized and you were mistreated by family members, which taught you to not move forward. And so you may have been stuck for some time, but you persevered and got out of that. And now these people are very angry. Usually that's what I see. These men or women kind of fought the odds. And now people are very angry because they couldn't control you. That's what I normally see. The research is in the description box. If you want to join our exclusive group, it has exclusive content. That is pinned in the comments. Consulting calls are also pinned in the comments. I hope this video is helpful for anybody. Please like, subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.